Officer Adda 24/7. A very good evening to all of you. So I'm your CIB ABM mentor. My name is Suprabha, and we are going to discuss some questions from the module D, right? As you know that we have already started module D in the paid batch. So here we are going to solve some question from the module D itself. Module D is very important module and very easy also, right? Easily you can score around 15 to 20 marks from the module D. So it is a very important module. So please remember that don't leave any chapter from this module, right? Remember that this is a very important module D, that is ठीक है. You have approx 7 chapter number 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 and 32. So total 7 chapter you have in the module D, and very easy module ये, ठीक है. So here the first question from the inherent risk and control risk and the residual risk. So what is the formula for calculating the residual risk, right? What is the meaning of residual risk? Residual risk is actually the leftover risk, okay, which is always remain with the system. So that is a leftover risk which is always remain with the system, right? So here the formula is for calculating the residual risk is option A, that is residual risk equal to inherent risk plus control risk. The residual risk equal to the inherent risk minus the control risk. C option is the residual risk equal to the inherent risk into the control risk, and option D is the residual risk equal to the inherent risk divided by the control risk, right? So here when we are talking about the for all three options, the option number 3 is the correct one, right? That means residual risk is always equal to the inherent risk into CR. So this is the formula. Normally numerical won't come from this part, but yes, please remember the formula at least. What is the inherent risk? See, inherent risk, it is the natural risk, okay? What is the meaning of inherent risk? Inherent risk is, that is the natural risk when you have not applying any control measures, okay? So we called it as a natural risk. So what is the meaning of inherent risk? The inherent risk is the natural risk which normally there, right? It is like a raw risk, untreated risk, when any type of internal control measures have not applied. Control measures is what? Control risk. Control risk is actually, this is the type of the risk when you have applied the control measures, but your control measures got failed due to maybe any error or maybe any omission. The control measures were failed actually, right? And what is the meaning of residual risk? The residual risk is the leftover risk. Even you have applied the control measures, you have applied, you have even checked, right? Even then there is a risk which is always remain with the system, left over with the system. That is, we called it as a residual risk, right? Now we have the second question, the probability of loss that remain to the system that store, process or transmit the information after security measures or control have been implemented is called. First option is residual risk, control, inherent or operation. Tell me which one is the right answer. Right? what is the meaning of the probability of loss that remain with the system? Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Right, so what is the probability of the loss that remain to the system that store, process or transmit the information after security measures or control have been implemented is called? Option A is residual risk, B is control risk, C is inherent risk, and D is the operational risk. Right? What is the right answer here? Option A is residual risk, B is the control risk, C is the inherent risk, and D is the operational risk. Tell me which one is the right answer? C. The right answer here is the residual risk, right? So when we are talking about the probability of loss that always remain with the system that store, process or transmit the information after security measures or control have been implemented, we called it as a residual risk because there is a probability that this type of risk can be happen. Even there is a probability of 0.00001% also. Okay, so that is always remain with the system and it is beyond our control. Okay, that is we called it as a residual risk. So here the option is A. Question number 3 is, what is the purpose of compliance risk assessment? Option A is evaluating the creditworthiness of customer. B is assessing the level of compliance with regulatory directive. C is conducting internal audit, right? And D is enhancing the marketing strategies. Tell me which one is the right answer? Right? So what is the purpose of compliance risk assessment? See, the meaning of compliance, right? The meaning of compliance risk assessment is what? The meaning of compliance risk assessment is you have to find out the gap between what is your compliance program does versus your what your compliance program should do. Okay, so this is actually the comparison between standard versus actual compliance program. Okay, so this is the standard compliance program, right? And this is the actual compliance program. So this is actually where you have to find out the gap between these two. So option A is evaluating the credit worthiness of customer. B is assessing the level of compliance with regulatory directive, conducting the internal audit, and enhancing the market strategy. So what is the purpose of, right? Where the credit risk assessment actually you have to try to find gap between the standard compliance program and the actual compliance program. Okay, where actually you have to find out that what you have to find out, you have to find out the mitigation. Okay, so you have to try to find out that how you can mitigate that gap, how you can mitigate that risk, and how you can reduce that gap to achieve your organizational goal. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Is the where you are trying to find out what is the purpose of the risk exposure in the bank. So that is actually to understand the full range of the risk exposure in the bank. That means how the risk event may occur, what is the reason it may occur, the potential severity of its impact. Okay, so overall you have to find out that how that risk can be occur, what can be the reason maybe, and what will be the severity of its impact. That is we called it as a compliance risk assessment. So option B is the correct, where you have to find out the level of compliance with the regulatory directive. Now option 4 is under the regulation 46, please remember that first of all, full form of LODR, that is listing obligation and disclosure requirement 2015. ठीक है, you need to cover only 29, 30, 46 and 47, these four regulations. So according to the 46 regulation, listed entity have to disclose which of the following information on the website. ठीक है, ऑप्शन ए इज कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट ऑफ बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर, बी इज पॉलिसी टू डीलिंग विद रिलेटेड पार्टी ट्रांजेक्शन, C is email ID of grievance redressal, and D is all of the above. Tell me which one is the right answer, right? Right? So what is the right answer here?
40.
So what can be the right answer under this regulation LODR 2015? Which of the following information should be displayed on the website, right? That is code of the conduct of board of director, B is policy to dealing with the related party transaction, email ID of grievance redressal. So there are so many items which you need to disclose, right, on your website within the 2 days of its change. Okay? Within 2 days. That means all of the above is the right answer. Okay? So please remember all the regulation 29, 30, 46, 47. 20 that is 46 is about website, 47 is about newspaper, that there are some item which you have to disclose on the one local newspaper and one English newspaper. Okay, then for 29 and 30 regulation you have. So please remember all the four regulations. Now we have the question number 5. What is incorrect about the CCO of any bank and financial institution? ठीक है, option A is for pending vigilance cases CCO can be appointed. B is age should not be more than 55 years. CCO shall have an overall experience of at least 15 years in banking or financial services. CCO shall have direct reporting line to the MD and CEO and the audit committee board of the bank. Now tell me which one is the right answer. See, for CCO actually IBF has asked so many questions from the CCO wala part, right? Like tenure of the CCO. See, these type of question even IBF can ask in the without option category also. Okay? So the first is for pending vigilance cases, CCO can be appointed, that's Chief Compliance Officer. B is age should not more than 55 years, right? C is CCO shall have an overall experience of at least 15 years in banking and financial services, and D is CCO shall have direct reporting line to the MD and CEO or audit committee board of the bank. Tell me which one is the incorrect. I have written something here which is incorrect. Okay, so here actually the option A is the incorrect, because if there is any pending vigilance case is there, okay, if any vigilance case is pending, right, then CCO cannot be appointed. He should have the clean track record first of all. Okay, other options are correct. Age should not be more than 55 years. Overall experience is 15 years, out of which 5 years should be in maybe legal, audit, or like credit, all these functions. CCO should have the direct reporting line to MD and CEO, right, or audit committee of board. They have to meet on a quarterly basis with audit committee of board. Okay, So this is the right answer, of course. Now we have the sixth question, that is from the NBFC chapter. Okay, what is the question? That what is the purpose of internal capital adequacy assessment process, ICAP, for NBFC? First of all, tell me what is this guideline is all about. This guideline is the comes under the category of capital guideline. Okay, in yesterday class only we have done the different type of three guideline. Number one is capital, number two is prudential, right, and number three is the governance guideline. Okay, so for BL actually there is no capital, there is no prudential guideline, but yes, for BL actually governance guideline is there. So this is one of the guideline, one of the actually capital guideline for NBFCs, right? Option A is to determine the need for profit. Second is to assess the need for additional regulatory changes. C is to make a thorough internal assessment of the need for capital and business risk. D is to calculate the minimum capital which is required for IPO funding. Okay, so which one is the correct one? Tell me. What will be your answer? See, the ICAP normally it is RBI has given the direction to all the ML and UL category NBFC that they have to prepare their own internal capital adequacy assessment process, right? So what is the right answer? That is actually the purpose of this type of assessment is to make a thorough internal assessment of the need for capital and the business risk, right? So actually now what happened here is every ML and UL, they know about how much capital is required, right, for the business risk. So what type of capital is required, they know that. Okay, so let them decide. They actually said that NBFCs that let them decide, I mean that NBFC they will decide that what will be the internal capital adequacy assessment process will be there. Okay, so we have done these questions from the module D today. All the viewers, if you want to join the our Adda batch, right, then please type here Adda 24/7, that is, right, please type here Adda 24/7. Right, so this is Adda 24/7 and here you have to go by the category, that is JAIIB and CAIIB. So this is the CAIIB June 2024 we have, right, and this is our JAIIB batch which we have recently launched and the victory batch, right. So this is your victory batch and here you have to go by the category buy now, right, then you have to type here Y666, then apply, and the price is here 80% discount you will be getting. Okay, so total 80% discount, right, so total 80% discount you will be getting here in the victory batch which is recently launched on 13th of February. So price will be below the 5,000, right, and here you have to apply the, if you want to purchase the Mahapack, then go with CAIIB Mahapack. So all the bilingual batches, English medium batches are included here, right? Type Y666 and apply. So 80% discount you will be getting here. 80%, that is. So 6823 is the price, right? And 80% discount you will be getting. Okay. Plus coin also you can use. Right, so thank you and bye bye, and we will meet in the next session with the module D question. Thank you and bye bye.